Before the video starts off, I want to mention something real quick that I didn't mention in the last episode. In episode 3, I mentioned something similar to a concept called barrier to entry, which once you get over it, the entire episode's more or less easier to get through. For episode 3, I'd say it's between level 2 or level 3, Solve a Despair Pandemonium. For this episode, I'd say it's, well, this. Here it goes, the rip-roaring good time that is Perfect Hatred. The level that I consider to be the most difficult in the entire game. This should be interesting. So, the start of the level is just fantastic. You're dropped into the level, and a large percentage of the enemies in the level can see you automatically. The biggest issue probably being the cacodemons that start flying at you. And as you can probably tell from how I'm fighting them, I'm trying to keep them as far away as possible because when fighting projectile enemies, it's good to have a lot of distance. And of course I get hit by an imp fireball because I was completely not paying attention to the imp, paying more attention to the cacodemon. And all 3 times I viewed that, all 3 times when I was focusing on the cacodemon, I didn't see the fireball until it hit me square in the face. So, that's what happens when you focus too much on one thing. But then we wake up 2 Barons of Hell that are standing in there, so figure they might as well get dealt with right now. Luckily enough, I have a couple of rockets that I can use on them. Or, now I do. So I eventually decide to, there we go. I decide to bring those out and start using them. Now, this, as you can probably gather from what I've said about it so far, is a tricky level. It's difficult. It just is, because they throw a lot of barons at you, and there's a certain enemy toward the end of it that you really don't want to mess around with. But we'll be hearing him a little bit later. In the meantime, just trying to kill as many things as possible and solidify a good stance in this level. So we open this up and move into the next room. Now, a potential danger in this level is falling, because if you were to fall off the raised platforms, you fall into an owl floor that can be compared to lava, because it's basically the color of lava. You do not want to fall into this owl floor, unless you're going for the power-ups, like the radiation suit and the supercharge. But if you do fall into the owl floor, this is the only way to get back up. To go through an owl floor winding staircase, and up into the back of the area where you spawned in. And every time you fall, you have to go back to there and run back up and hope you don't miss the run again. If you do, then you're just going to feel bad. So then, gotta run there to bring the floor up. And you want to bring the floor up because, well, you kind of have to get through the level. So let's gather our resources. And now that the floor in that room has risen, well, at least I got a radiation suit on still. That's protecting me from the owl floor. And I'm gonna really save here because, oh boy. And I also did the convenience of actually cutting that portion out. And that video looked a little odd there for a moment. Hey, Barons! So, you heard and saw the Barons. But we got the plasma gun, so we can start working on that. Now, you would think that the plasma gun would be a surefire weapon for this, but with this game's auto-aim, half the time the plasma bullets are going to hit the doorway and not the Baron itself. So, while it may be repetitive and may take longer, the shotgun is a slightly better bet here, because you can conserve the plasma ammo, which, when you have gotten to this episode, is kinda nice to have. And basically, like, I'm still probably going to use the shotgun a lot just because I'm still going to be able to find ammo for it, but I'll probably be focusing more on the rockets and the plasma gun because this episode does not mess around, and I can't just go, oh, I can only use the rocket launcher for when I really need it, because using it any other time would be cheap, because it kills things so easily. Yeah, we're kind of throwing that out the window, because trying to play professionally is just gonna get me killed, and while I'm sure everybody wants to see that, I don't want to have to edit around that, because, as I've mentioned before, with the program I use to edit, it's not easy, and likes to mess up and things of that nature, and it annoys me when that happens. So I'm going to save again, just in case, because I know what's going to happen as soon as I flip the yellow switch next to me. So just in case I end up dying, we've got a save to fall back on so we don't lose too much progress. Because otherwise, this would take hell and ever. It's just a safety precaution. Then I'll run into the owl floor, because I want to get some distance, because there's lost souls. And some bearings. So you kind of want to keep your distance from them. Because then you have a split second more to think, and to move out of the way of the green plasma ball that's flying at your face, as well as the flaming skull that won't leave your face alone. So then I whip out the plasma gun, start shooting, and you'll notice the auto aim is rarely, I suppose would be the proper frequency word here, targeting the demons that are up on the higher platform and are desperately trying to get to you, but can't. Because they can't just jump off cliffs. If this were Brutal Doom, they probably could. They probably could. Again, I'm firing in bursts just because I don't want to miss. Because, again, plasma ammo is a precious commodity that is not infinite, so I gotta be careful. And up here, decide to reduce some of the noise of demons and take a few out. And I move, and I'm pretty sure I woke up the Cyber Demon. I'm not sure how he was able to see me, but the Cyber Demon has been woken up. So now he is aware of my existence in this level. And while we're on the topic of the Cyber Demon, as I was doing the tiny bit of research for Perfect Hatred that I was doing, mostly to find what the quote was that the map title is taken from, I found out that apparently on the PlayStation and Saturn ports of this game, things act a little bit differently. Apparently the Saturn version of this level is unplayable, or utterly unplayable, I think is exactly how I put it, just because the mass amount of enemies that you aggro just by entering the level. In addition to that, in the PlayStation port, and this might also be in the Saturn version, don't remember, apparently the two shotgun guys will not infight right off the bat, and will instead target you. And with how close they are, if you were to, let's say, start this level with only 2% health, and were unable to get to a medkit in time, then you would die as soon as the level started. And should you not load the password to reload the level, then you would start with just a pistol. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. That's never a good thing to do. In addition to that, apparently in the PlayStation, and I believe in the Saturn version as well, there is not a Cyber Demon up on the raised platform. So, still, I think this is the most difficult level in the game. Others think it's Hell Beneath. You might think it's something completely different. Again, I leave that to you. I'm not gonna judge. Some people might be really good at Perfect Hatred and know exactly where to run, exactly where not to run. I don't. I don't know these levels that well. which is shown, or actually in this case not shown, because I was not aware that the secret level of Episode 4, E4M2 Fear, which is not named after a quote from the Bible and whatnot, is connected to Perfect Hatred. I was not aware of this. So, as I was not aware of it, I don't end up showing it off. I may do that at a later date. I may do that. I mean, I plan on actually, because I figure if we're going to do the most difficult episode, we might as well do it in Brutal Doom, so once I put this up, then I'll start doing my little bit of practice that needs to be done for Brutal Doom, and get around to doing that. That way, you're going to see me die on this level. You know it's going to happen. And with how Hell Beneath set up, you're probably going to see me die there too. Because, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but in addition to changing how enemies work and whatnot with better AI and everything, they also have the potential to deal higher amounts of damage. So, odds are, I would have already died in both Hell Beneath and here already, if we were just simply going by that rule and none of the others. If it was the exact same AI, but everybody was doing more damage than usual, then I would have died already. But, as you just saw, I telefragged the Cyberdemon, because I'm not going to run up there just to get killed by taking a rocket to the face, because I have nowhere to run other than to the Alpha. So I simply ran into the teleporter, telefragged him, grabbed the BFG that was sitting next to him, because we might need that at a later date, and aggroed the cacodemons. And then I ran into the Alpha, around to here, and as you can see, I'm fighting them off, because now I have some distance between them. And as I said twice already, distance between you and a projectile enemy is a good thing. Except when you do that and dodge straight into the lightning bolt anyway. But I wasn't really worried. As you can see, there's quite a few medkits right here at the end of the level. I guess making up for Hell Beneath. But that is that with this level. So after one last check of the outside room here, we are out of here. That is, in my opinion, the most difficult level in the game taken down without dying. And that's an accomplishment, because we're on ultraviolence and everything. But next time, most likely Brutal Doom.